don't like that celebrities, I feel like have been doing a lot lately, is bashing things that you're in. I'm sorry, that's not cute. That's not funny. Don't bash it. Zac Efron, I'm talking to you.
I believe it's inherently anti-feminist to project your own expectations onto another woman. I can't Legally Blonde into this relationship.
Literally, I'm like, I'm sorry. You're not even gonna pick me up. Like tiny things.
The
like,
nail trick didn't work. The long nails didn't work. What?
Right. Like, oh, I have to hold my own door. This is strange. Can't relate to cancel culture, hookup culture, or victim culture.
Well, neither could we. We created this platform for those other girls. Girls like us who want to give a different perspective from a Christian and conservative worldview.
We talk about life, work, relationships, pop culture, and everything in between. So let's be those other girls that just don't talk about culture,
but change culture.
Hello, everybody. You are listening to Those Are the Girls with Mallory and Friends. I'm Mallory.
And I'm Freeman.
And we are changing culture and bringing back traditional values. We are so back, girlies. We have a great episode today.
Yes.
Much to discuss. Much to discuss. Before we get into our discussions, a couple of things. I think we got rid of, turn the sound down. I think we got rid of the clicking. Someone did point that out a couple episodes ago when we were trying to figure that out. I think we got rid of the clicking.
Shout out to Karen.
Yeah, say that again?
Shout out to Karen, who definitely pointed it out. My mom.
Oh, okay. She pointed it out too. Okay, all right. So it was definitely obvious to everyone. Got it. I think we fixed it.
Okay,
a couple people
we
messaged me
definitely
on Instagram too. So
what?
And I did notice it myself. I guess I was just trying to ignore it. But anywho, we think we fixed that. And welcome. If this is your first time listening to this podcast, you're going to love it. We talk a lot about faith and femininity, and this is your new favorite podcast. I'm just letting you know now. So go ahead and follow it. When you're done on Spotify is the only time you can actually rate it. One of the cool things about Spotify is you can't rate unless you actually listen to the actual podcast. So go ahead and listen to the whole thing through, and then just make sure you go over and give us a rating because it's going to be your new favorite podcast. What else? Oh, we have an app. In the app, we talk and discuss the different topics we talk about on the podcast. We want more people on there. We want more people to be on the app just to have better discussions. We also have merch. Freeman is wearing one of our shirts. Pro-woman, pro-science, pro-life. And if you're like, oh goodness, these girls are pro-life, and I don't want to hear them anymore, pause, don't turn away. We talk about other things as well, and hopefully we'll give you a different perspective than some of these other pro-lifers you see on Twitter. Let's just say we're not like them. And then we also have stuff like this. If you're looking for a new emotional support water bottle, this is the water bottle for you. I carry this everywhere. It's steel and metal, BPA free, I'm pretty sure. It's great. We also have other stuff on the merch website. And what this does is it helps fund the podcast. Everything earned from the podcast, including our Patreon, which you should also join, goes right back to the podcast and the different things, activities that we're going to do. Now and in the future, one of those activities is we are having our 3-year anniversary party, August 26th at Merchant and Trade in Charlotte. So if you live in the Charlotte area, come by Merchant and Trade. Let us know you're coming. We're going to get there right at 5 o'clock because we want to get a table right away. Merchant and Trade. I've actually never been. I've seen really cute pictures. Have you been? No.
Yes.
Have you? You have?
Yes.
Oh, you like it a lot?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, cool. Last year we went to Fahrenheit. Fahrenheit was really nice and fun.
Oh, maybe that's what I'm thinking of. I don't know.
Maybe. Well, I guess you'll see August 26th.
That's right.
Fahrenheit's really cute, and it has a really nice backdrop. It was kind of expensive, and they charged a cake fee, which I now know is a thing. I did not know that was a thing before. So we're going to have a cute little cake for Merchant and Trade. So I'll have that in my mind that I might have to pay a cake fee. So yeah, you should come join that. Attire is obviously pink. Next year we might have a different theme, so we might have a different color. But this year, especially going along with the Barbie, we're going to do pink. Yes, ma'am.
Okay, on the 1-year anniversary of me joining, we should have a party, and the theme should be European sleek. And everyone has to wear muted tones.
I was going to say neutrals. Okay.
Yeah, all nudes. That would be really cute, actually.
I was
That
gonna
would
say
be
that
really
actually is
cute.
really cute. That's a vibe. That's a vibe. Not my
It's a
vibe, but that's a
vibe.
vibe. That's
It's a vibe.
Yeah. We should do that. That actually will be really fun. So,
Yeah.
oh, and that's another thing too. We love community here. So, first of all, I am a party thrower. Once I get my life situated a little bit
Same.
more, once a month, maybe more. I would love to have people over for a themed party. Anything really. I love it. I miss, or I didn't go to like a dinner with some people of my family, and they were asking me. My mom said, they were like, "Oh, where's Mallory?" They're like, my mom's like, "Oh, she was at a bridal shower." And my cousin was like, "Oh wow, it seems like she's going to a baby shower, bridal shower every other week." And
It
I
really
am.
does.
I love it. I love showers. I love parties. I love themes. I love decorating. I love celebrating. Like anything. Just give me any holiday, I'll do it. That's also a little hint if you're living in Charlotte to invite me to any of the activities that you're having. Absolutely love.
Settle.
Yeah. Well, I love it's community. It's all part of community, being a girl and like, embracing each other.
For sure.
Okay, that is all of the announcements. Freeman, how are you doing?
Things are well. Things are really well. I have a fascinating question for you, Mallory.
I'm excited.
Okay. So I was having lunch with my in-laws, and David, if you're listening, shout out to David. He is a king. So David asked, "Where are you a regular at?" Because apparently, and I'm probably going to butcher the story, but he was sharing a story about a woman who really struggled with kind of getting out into the world. She really struggled with confidence. She really struggled with social anxiety. And her therapist advised her to become a regular somewhere, anywhere, because apparently it has a lot of social and emotional benefit. So, Mallory, where are you a regular at?
I absolutely love this question. She and I talked about this question a couple hours ago. Have not stopped thinking about it.
Oh my God. Okay, because for those of you who don't know, I texted Mallory and told her that she was going to be asked this.
Yes. So I'm glad I could think of something ahead of time.
Yeah.
Because I honestly cannot name a place in Charlotte that I feel like I'm a regular at. Surprisingly, I know. Sorry, let me put my phone on like do not disturb. I cannot name a place in Charlotte I'm regular at. And I love how you were saying that it kind of affects like the mental health and social anxiety and things like that.
Yeah,
I
because
would
you
say
go
that
in and like people know who you are, and you can like you have this weird not weird, but you have this like newfound community like right next
yes.
door or right down the street.
Yes, I will say, when I lived in Virginia Beach, not to, go on and on about that, but when I was in
Wait,
that
did you live
season
in
of
Virginia Beach?
when I was in that season of life, I was a regular at it was a gym that was across a YMCA that was across the street from my apartment complex. Here's
Yeah.
the thing. They had water aerobics and I was swimming, so I
Oh,
would kind of
cool.
do laps. And then I would watch, and when you do laps at like Y stuff like that, and they do like a water aerobics thing, they move the lanes in, so you only have that one lane. And I would do my laps, and I'd look over like that looks okay, but it's mainly 65 plus. I can't. I'm above that. I can't swim with them. And then I was like, you know what? Let me just see. Who's it gonna hurt?
Yeah.
I'm just gonna go. You guys, it is a lot harder than you think. These 65 plus people are, they're limber. And they know the songs and the dances. And like I became a regular at that. So like after my
Great.
first one, and it honestly was like if I missed a class, where were you? You weren't here. Are you okay?
Wow.
Literally, are you okay? Where were you? Okay, cool. Oh, I saw you at I saw someone once at like Harris Teeter or something. I saw you at Harris Teeter. Wow, and
Wow.
that camaraderie, that feeling was really great. So I can say I was a regular there. Another thing that kind of like made me think of this is not necessarily like a regular like out at a place, but kind of it was. So last thing, because I actually can name a couple places, but I'll just name these two. The other one is I was in a Bible study with a group of women, and I want to give them a shout out. Miss Denise, Tracy, Jean, and Melissa. I know Jean and Melissa listen. Shout out, love you guys, miss you guys so much. And we had a Bible study every Wednesday morning, and then the Bible study season was over, but we kept it up.
Yeah.
And that actually was like really great. Like every Wednesday, or I believe it was every other Wednesday, Jean would come and pick me up from my house and we'd go to Miss Denise's house. And we would just like talk and chat. And we talked about everything. Like, and these are all godly Christian. It was truly a Titus 2, like looking back, it was like a Titus 2 type thing, at least for me, because I was the youngest and like, and it was all ages. Like I was the youngest and there were, everyone else was like older than me, but like, you know, ranging from like early 60s to me. I was like, what, mid-20s? And during that time, we just talked about everything. And it was even like a season where I mean, like literally everything. And it was just so, and it became like just a system thing. Like, okay, it was every other Wednesday. Every other Wednesday, all right, I'm going to Miss Denise's. We're going to talk about this. We're going to do that. Oh, she'll have the coffee. And like thinking about that, that was good, routine. I also realized that like I love spontaneity, but I also really like routine.
Yes.
There's people consistency. Structure. There's people, so like that in my head when I first said that, when I was first thinking about that, because I've really been reflecting on my life this past week, which is why I like this question. When I first was thinking like I like routine, but I also like spontaneity, I realized it's not necessarily, it doesn't contradict like you think it does in your head. Really what I mean is I like to have something consistent, and then I like shaking that consistency and then coming right back to that consistency to stabilize and then shaking it again. Whereas there's some people who are like, no, let's keep it all. So who needs a place, a home? I'll just crash at so-and-so's. I'm not like that at all. I'd rather have a consistent place. I know this place is going to be here when I come back from my trip. I have a friend who like, I don't even think he has a home. He's just, oh, I'm going there, blah, blah, and I just go there, and I'm going to tell you this person's place. And it's like, how do you live like that? Like, I can't do that. But I love traveling. Like, I will go out and I'll leave for a couple days. I probably can't do a whole month, but I do like the idea to come, maybe a month, I guess, but probably not more than a month. But like the idea is just to come back to something stable. Anywho, those two places are the places that I thought of when you asked about like, where are you a regular? And it really did, like looking back, it really did help with like your mental health, like your socialization. Like that really was, it's exciting when you go places and people actually are happy to see you, you know?
For sure.
What about you? What's your regular place?
Well, we have a few. One, and I think in order to be a regular, I think you have to like know the names and be like, hey, Johnny, hey, Rosie, like another latte for you? Sure, you know, kind of thing. Like that's what I imagine with being a regular, because I think that builds that personal experience. Definitely a regular at Trader Joe's. I'm not at the level where I like can name people, but I really, you know, I should be able to be like, oh, we're going to go over to Susie's lane and see how her kids are doing, you know, kind of thing. Like, that's something I would like to be able to do. We also are obviously regulars at the coffee shop beneath us, Night Swim Coffee. Mostly because Andy loves their coffee. I really don't like their coffee. I find it's really strong. But like, we'll go and maybe I'll get a cookie. You know what I mean? I'll get a cookie.
Getting sponsorships from them. Continue.
Well, maybe from Andy. I mean, he loves their coffee. But like, you know, we'll go in and be like, hey, Rosie, like, you know, and she'll be like, latte with whole milk. And we're like, sure, thanks. Champ, you know? So like, that's really fun. I'm definitely a regular with my eyebrow girl, but it's not like I walk in and she's like the regular. I don't know. It's like more like I'm loyal to this one girl and she has her own little private business, so. But I'm also not really loyal to her because sometimes I go to a different place. But anyways, yeah, I wish I had more places I was regular at, because I think like I imagine that would be so comforting, you know, to have a place where you know people and like they're going to be there and they're going to know your order and they're going to want to know how you're doing. You know what I mean?
And that's community. Like that, I think, so this isn't a story, but I did see this week that people were talking about like suicides are rising. like during the pandemic, I was listening to someone, I think it was Breaking Points. They were saying like during the pandemic, they kind of like lower, and then right after the pandemic, it spiked up again.
Mm.
And I think it is a response to community, because I think once we all came out of the pandemic, I mean, everybody started just acting crazy. And I think part of it is community. I mean, there's a myriad of reasons, like prices are high, life is tough. There's a lot of reasons, but I think, you know, a good way to combat stuff like that is through community and knowing your neighbors. And I just thought about this. I'm a regular at my gas station. When you
I like
said that,
That's great.
that reminded me, my mom always goes, it's good, like at the gas station, at places that you go to kind of often, to like kind of be like friendly or whatnot to people and things like that, because if something does happen, they recognize your face. So like if you know, something like let's say like I'm going to the gas station, and this is a crazy scenario, but it could happen, and someone is like kidnapping me, and I go in, and the person at the gas station knows I'm normal, like, hey, what's up? And if somebody comes by, they say, you know what, actually she seemed kind of distraught. You know, tiny things like that. Yeah, tiny things like that is good to my mom's always like, oh, it's just good to, like, when you're going someplace regular, it's good for them to know you, to get to know your personality a little bit. So if there is an issue, you'll have someone who can vouch for you if something, or like even if like you know, someone comes and robs the place and it's just me and someone else, and they're like, who did it? The cashier knows that I wouldn't do that, so the cashier can say, it's definitely not her, and then like it's the other girl, you know, things like that. But yeah, so I guess my gas station I'm a regular at, but like that doesn't feel as he's not excited to see me, not like how they were at the Y, or like how it was at that like group I was in, you know.
Well, I love that. Well, everyone, let us know where you're a regular at, and if you're not a regular somewhere, start to be.
Yeah, seriously, I think I love this question, and it really like community. It just goes back to how are we going to fix kind of the issues, and you know, EV magazine was talking about like female friendship and things like that. I'm not saying that you're going to like the lady who does your coffees, you're gonna invite her over for girl nights, but you could, you know, that could be how it happens. Like, it's possible. It's just tiny things like that. Yeah. All right, ladies. I think these are all the announcements. Are you ready for the stories?
I'm ready. We've got some really good stories, y'all.
Yes. Okay, so first thing I'm gonna say, another week, another indictment. We're not gonna go over any of the indictment stuff, because like I've said before, it's a lot of stuff. And I honestly don't know it well enough to say anything other than like, oh, it's going on. I am gonna link Breaking Points. I did a video of it. And, you know, you can watch your Fox News, your CNN, your MSNBC, but make sure you're watching both sides, because each side is having, I mean, this morning I was listening to my Up First on the daily drive on my Spotify.
Same. Love that one.
You said you love that one? Yeah. And they have their own spin on things. So like everybody just listen. I think you need to listen to both sides. So I'm gonna link the Breaking Points on that. The other thing I want to talk about for 2 seconds is the Keke Palmer update. I sent it to Freeman. So you guys know we talked about Keke Palmer and her boyfriend. Her boyfriend put a message that probably should have been a text message on Twitter. Whole Twitter world blew up. And now Keke Palmer has created a music video with Usher. Also, the clip that's going around, I don't know if the clip was in that tweet I sent you, but in the clip she goes, I am a mother, and then winks. And I was like, oh, Keith, you just stop. That's too much. Like, that's still the father of your child. So it's like, too much. But that's an update on that story. And I guess they're definitely not together. Like, you know, there was a part of me that was like, maybe they are together. Kind of like when that guy from what's that show that I hate but our friends love? Bachelorette. kind of like on The Bachelorette when that guy said he broke up with that girl. And I remember seeing them like, they didn't break up. And then it turns out they really didn't. But he needed to say that so the heat will get off of him and her, blah, blah, blah. And that's what I was hoping was happening with Keke Palmer. Because, like, you want kids' parents to be together. You want them to get married and be together. But that's just... This kind of shows that did not happen. So... You have any thoughts on Keke Palmer's behavior currently?
No thoughts. I've done way more research on the other topics, so I didn't really write down anything to say on this.
Okay. I mean, you don't have anything you want to say off the back? Oh, well, I forgot you don't really like doing that, though. You don't.
No, I don't, because I want to make sure everything I say, I don't spout off something wild. So we're good
that.
for now.
For those that don't know, I don't do that. Sometimes I haven't even read the full article.
Mallory spouts off wild things all the time.
All the time. And sometimes it just comes out the mouth. If I said something wrong, I'm sorry.
Same, of course.
If I say something wrong, I'm sorry. If I say something you don't like, I might be sorry, I might not be. Okay, so our next topic, which is like probably the main topic of the night. No. Yes, sorry. No. The main topic of the night. Scroll to the second one.
Okay, yes.
It's coming from New York Post. Everybody's talking about this. The Blind Side.
Oh, no. This isn't the perfect family that we thought it was?
No, it's not. Are you guys ready to hear what's going on?
I wasn't expecting this.
So, this is from the New York Post. And I want to say, like, by the time this episode comes out, we could have more information. We could not. Yeah. I don't know. The Blind Side Tuohy family accuses ex-NFL player Michael Oher of the $15 million shakedown before bombshell court filing. Michael Oher, the ex-NFL star whose story inspired the Oscar-winning film The Blind Side, allegedly asked his adoptive family for $15 million not to go public with the claims that they swindled him, according to the family's attorney. Sean and Leanne Tuohy said through their legal representative that there is no credence to Oher's claims he was fooled into a conservatorship and rubbish claims that the couple made millions off of their life story. Let me look really quick. I want to read what exactly he is claiming. I thought I had
it's basically that he believes that he's upset because he thought he was adopted by them, when in reality it was only a conservatorship, which is mainly a financial kind of, I don't know, protection.
Wait, let me read this part. Like I said, sometimes I only read the full article. But Oher released a statement after news of his court filing became public, saying, "I'm disheartened by the revelation shared in the lawsuit today. This is a difficult situation for my family and me. I want to ask everyone for privacy. I will let the lawsuit speak for itself." Oher, a 2009 first round pick of Ole Miss, who was played for the Ravens, Titans, now wants to end the conservatorship and secure an injunction barring them from using his name and likeness. He also wants an accounting of the money that they've earned off his name, a fair share of profits, and punitive damages. Since at least August 2004, conservators have allowed Michael specifically, and the public generally, to believe that the conservators adopted Michael and have used that untruth to gain financial advantages for themselves and the foundations which they own or which they exercise control. All monies made in said manner should in all conscience and equity be disgorged and paid over to the said ward, Michael Oher. The Tuohys, tricked Oher into signing the document that named them his conservators just 3 months after the offensive lineman turned 18 back in 2004, the petition said. The family then alleged used their newfound legal power to hammer out a deal that paid them and their 2 birth children millions of dollars in royalties while giving nothing to the man who inspired the story. Back when Oher signed the papers, the Tuohys made it seem as if it was no real difference between adoption and conservatorship. Oher said in his 2011 best-selling memoir, I Beat the Odds, quote, "They explained to me that it means pretty much the exact same thing as adoptive parents, and that the laws were just written in a way that took my age into account. But that's not true. The conservatorship gave the Tuohys the power to handle Oher's finances, even though he has no psychological disabilities. The blockbuster 2009 flick that followed made hundreds of millions of dollars in the theaters and tens of millions of dollars more in home video sales. The Tuohys profited handsomely. The legal filing said the couple and their 2 birth children made $225,000 each, plus 2.5% of the movie's net profits. The filings also claimed that the Tuohys had Oher sign another contract in 2007 that effectively gave the rights to their story to 20th Century Fox Studios with no promise of recompensation. Yeah. Oher said he doesn't remember signing the contract, according to ESPN, and if he did, no one allegedly explained to him what it meant. Okay, so that is what's going on currently. The Tuohys are saying that they did not do this. They are saying that they have, the normal, we loved him, we don't know why he's doing this, blah, blah, blah. You can go, or you want me to go?
You can go.
So, a couple of things. Full disclosure, I've actually never seen The Blind Side. I don't really like movies like that. I haven't seen that, or The Help, The Butler, nothing like that. I just don't like those type of movies. When I saw this article, I was shocked, because I do know this is a lot of people's favorite movie.
Yes.
Whenever I say I've never seen The Blind Side, people, you've never seen The Blind Side?
That's me.
Yeah. So, I know so I was shocked. But then I also, after I started thinking about it more, I'm going to tell you this. I do remember hearing a couple months ago on a podcast that the parents didn't come to his wedding. And that right there, because people are like, oh, this comes out of nowhere. Well, if they didn't come to his wedding, that is a big deal. Culturally, I will say, Black people your family is going to come to the wedding. Whether you guys are on good terms or not, it's probably going to be your only wedding. Ideally, it's your only wedding. Even if you and your mom just got into the fight of your life, she's still going to be at that wedding. Culturally, that's just not something that you're just unless that person has murdered your children, they're going to be there with their family. One of my friends, one of her cousins didn't RSVP, but then was commenting on another one of their cousins, something like, yeah, I can't wait to see you that weekend. And she was like, I didn't even know they were coming. And it's like, well, I hope that 2 other people don't come, because they're coming. It's that's just that's family. That's just kind of culture. That's what we do. So to me, hearing that he would not have his family there, that is just wild. That's crazy to me. So that to me, that shows there's trouble in paradise. Secondly, I might laugh during this part only because I'm uncomfortable, not because it's funny. But in the movie, the things that I'm seeing and I'm reading, they're saying they portrayed him as dumb and slow, and he's not smart. Well, apparently that people thought that's how he really was. So when he went to the NFL, he actually had a little bit of hard time because people thought that he was really dumb and dumb, but he wasn't. He was actually in a school, a private school, and to get into the private school, you had to be smart. But the movie portrayed him as kind of dumb. And then when you really think about it, nobody really wants to be portrayed as dumb,
Sure.
and nobody wants to be portrayed as dang, that boy was poor, his mama was a crackhead, and his daddy didn't love him, and woe is boy, oh god. Nobody really you don't really want that out there about you, whether it's true or not. You don't really want that. So I also am reading that he didn't really like the way he was portrayed, and that makes sense. I wouldn't want to be portrayed like that either. And it. So I can see where there is issues and problems with that, because even movies The Butler, I'm pretty sure the guy who was a butler, by the time it came out, he had passed. I don't even know the full plot of that movie. But I know it's in the same category. a lot of times these movies about people's real lives that are like that, they have passed. So like nobody, you know, like that's kind of, you know, he's probably excited. Oh, there's a movie about me, and you see like, you know, they have this idiot like
yeah,
and like someone was saying like in the movie it made it seem like he couldn't even throw a ball. He was playing like 3 sports. Like he was one of the people that does like football, basketball, and baseball. And like he didn't know how to throw a ball.
Wait,
I don't know why that's so funny to me.
First of all, I don't remember that in the movie at all. Like
he was not smart enough to like understand the plays type of thing. Like,
oh yeah, I do. I mean,
I've seen the commercial where she's like, "Protect him," and it's like he played 3 sports.
I do remember that he struggled with playing,
but like it wasn't real. He played basketball, football, and baseball. Like he wasn't an idiot.
Okay,
and like that's how they portrayed him.
I don't think it was that. I get that. Like, there's no way it's going to be actually his life biography. Like, I understand that that's frustrating. I understand that that's going to hurt a lot of people. It's probably made the wife feel inferior to Sandra Bullock. Like, if Sandra Bullock was playing me, I'd be like, people are going to be surprised to see that this is what I look like in real life. Like, you see what I'm saying? Like,
Sandra Bullock got an Oscar for it. This woman, I understand what you're saying. Like, it's never going to be exactly the same. But if you're gonna make a biography of someone who's alive, and like so young, I think it should be as close as possible. Like, they could have. Maybe he didn't have to play baseball and basketball, but he could have at least known how to throw a ball. You know, like.
But I think that was part of like. Okay, because if you remember in the movie, the reason that he wasn't the reason that he wasn't able to like kind of register how to play the game was because he was always told not to be violent. Like, he was just not a violent person. And then Sandra Bullock comes and says, okay, that defensive linebacker, she said, pretend like he's going after me. And then that's what triggered in him that aggression, and his love of Sandra Bullock is what made him angry. Not angry, but that's what gave him that drive.
Right.
So I don't think it was because he was dumb. I think it was because he needed that push. So my point is, I'm a little bit sympathetic to the movie. I think the movie was good. I think I can totally understand how degrading that would feel to be portrayed in that way. I do think it was for a purpose.
Yes. I mean, it's a good hearing that as the explanation, like, ooh, that's a good story.
See what I'm saying?
Yeah. If only they could have been like just made up like how 8 Mile isn't really about Eminem, but we all think it is. Like, I wonder if they could have done something like that, you know? You know 8 Mile, right? The movie 8 Mile.
Yeah.
Okay. You said like you didn't know what I was talking about at first.
No, never seen it, but I've heard of it.
Yeah, like everybody thinks it's Eminem, and it's not his life story, but like we're like, oh yeah, a white rapper, Eminem. I wonder if they could have done that, because like
I see.
Yeah, because like he was saying how like people in the NFL, like, because you know you're a liability. Like, if you can't understand these plays.
For sure.
We need you out there. We're about to pay you like millions of dollars. You need to know how to do these plays.
No, but this was during college recruitment.
No, this was the NFL when he was when on the thing I was listening to, they were saying that the recruiters in the NFL were kind of like, okay, like, are you gonna be able to understand this? He's like, yeah, I can understand. That was just part of the movie. So, right. Like, I don't necessarily think the movie was bad. I mean, I haven't seen it. And I'm not saying the movie was a bad thing. I'm just saying, like, there's just, like, these little tiny things that, like, ooh.
My problem with the movie is that it felt like it was implying that adopting a human being can be an act of charity. Like, that providing for a human being is a charitable thing. when it's I mean, I don't know. Like, I guess the reason that I resonated with people's concerns is because sometimes I can feel like people think I'm their charity. Like, people know that as a young couple, we're struggling, like, financially. And I've felt like people think I'm charity, you know? And for Elise, if you're listening to me when you give me your clothes, I'm not talking about that. I love your clothes. Thank you for letting me have your hand-me-downs. But like sometimes I've had this like worry that people maybe think by helping me out, they're doing like their good deed of the day. And I hate that feeling. And so that's part of why I can understand. And there's also a racial, element where it feels like maybe he's being taken advantage of. I know there were concerns about the family. I think the family was Alabama fans. And I think supposedly they pressured him a lot to go to Alabama because they had ties and because they had that upper hand. I mean, they were providing for him in every way. So wouldn't he need to reciprocate?
Yes. So
Because
that kind of
are there strings attached to their generosity?
So that leads me to another thing, but before that, I want to talk about the charity thing really quick. That reminds me of how when people see someone homeless and they go, "Look at me, I'm giving them $5." This poor homeless person, they have no teeth and they're balding and like it's his absolute worst day on earth. But look, I have $5.
Yeah.
It kind of gives that kind of vibe when you were talking about the thing about charity. And it's like we should be able to help people with no strings attached.
For sure.
I love that you say that you essentially said that. Like when you even like with adoption, like let's say you adopt a baby, even no matter what happens, like that's your child. If your child decides, to
become a murderer, they hate you.
That's still your child. You still have to love them because that's your child. There is no strings attached. And so that kind of brings me to the other thing. So there's 3 people when they heard this story. There's 3 types of people. And this is what I really don't want it to turn into this, but just because of, as if, we already have all these issues with race in America. Let me tell you the 3 people. So there's the, I knew it, these white supremacists, white savior. I knew it. These people are so evil. There's them. Then there's he should just shut up and be grateful someone scraped him off the ground. BLM, this is BLM's fault. Thanks, Obama. And then there's hopefully us who are like, dang, this is really messed up. I hope this is not true and a huge misunderstanding and eventually it'll all go away and everyone will be happy. And if it is true, that's really sad. And if it's not true,
hope justice is served.
Why did he do that? Everybody deserves to be happy and loved, and it is whoever is owed money should receive money. Whoever is not owed money should not receive money. So there's those 3 camps. I have seen all 3 speak in the last couple of days. I'm hoping that we're all part of the 3rd. If you find yourself in the other 2 camps, don't know what to tell you. But this is just such a story that everybody has an opinion of, first of all. And number 2, it just really does touch on a lot of different topics about charity with no strings attached. That, I mean, Freeman, that once again, I guess this is why you prepare ahead of time to say really nice things like that. But
well, because I felt that way. That's why I'm able to say it so precisely, is because I think that all the time, verbatim.
Charity, no strings attached. I think that's something, that's a takeaway this week. Like, are you doing charity with no strings attached? If you helped out this person, are you expecting them to help you back?
Or are you doing it because you expect God to repay you in some way?
I was just about to say that.
I love you for thinking that.
I was just about to say, and are we like tithe? Are we tithing because we're like, oh, God's going to give it to us right back? That's why I have to give because I need money, right? Is that why you're like, same thing? Are we doing things because we want God to bless, or are you doing things because this is the right thing to do?
Yeah.
You want to help this person that need help. Here you are helping.
Because nothing that you own is really yours. Is given to you. Yeah. Nothing you own is yours. It's not given to you because you're owed it.
Ooh, that's good. Okay, I thought you were going to say more. That's good.
No.
I mean, mic drop right there. Nothing that's given to you is yours. You're not given that because you're owed that. That's good, Freeman. That's good. So I guess closing thoughts on Mr. Oher.
We don't know. Good luck.
Yeah. I think that, like, I agree.
The real conversation isn't even, like, just this, like, lawsuit. The real conversation is so much bigger.
Exactly. There's not really much we can say about the lawsuit other than, like I said, dang, I hope this is not true. I hope this is a complete big misunderstanding and they're all going to hug and everybody that's owed money will get money. That's all we can really say.
Yeah.
And, I mean, more is going to come out. Like I said earlier, whatever is done in the dark is going to come out eventually.
Yep.
It eventually comes out.
I feel like we say that in every podcast.
Say that again?
I feel like we say those words in every podcast, and I'm like, segment clip, segment clip, segment clip.
I mean, I'm sure we do because it is the truth. Like, it does come out. And like I said last episode, this is a season of justice. I'm not a lawyer.
Wow, so consistent.
You know, that's a thread. That's in all these episodes.
That's a thread?
Justice. That's a thread. It's a thread.
Oh, I thought you said that's a threat.
Oh, no. No, being consistent is a compliment.
No. But like you said, everything that happens in the darkness comes to light. That's a threat.
Oh, no. That's not a threat. That's a promise. I'm just joking. Just joking.
It's a little bit of blackmail.
Also, so it's this TikTok called I'm Not a Lawyer, but she breaks down the lawsuit. Mm-hmm. Really interesting stuff. So I'm gonna link that for you guys. She's on the not the Bird app, but the Clock app. So okay, next story, which is another story everybody's talking about. This one is brought to you by NBC News. Rachel Ziegler gets viral backlash as comments about Snow White remake resurface. The film is set to release next year, but Ziegler, who stars as the title character, has been the subject of online discourse over several interview clips from last year's Emerge. Disney's live-action remake of the 1937, wow, I did not realize it was that old, cartoon Snow White isn't scheduled for release until March, but as lead actress Rachel Ziegler is already at the heart of the social media controversy over comments she made last year. In a soundbite that has gone viral, Ziegler suggested scenes featuring her co-star Andrew Burnap, who plays Prince Charming, should be cut from the film. In another soundbite that has become the center of discourse, Ziegler described her version of Snow White as a leader who doesn't need a prince to save her. She also told an interviewer that she saw the original film only once before she was cast because she found the film scary as a child. On TikTok, some users said they think that in an effort to make Snow White more feminist, Ziegler inadvertently assigned an anti-feminist sentiment to the character. Others use the viral discourse to bash Ziegler, a Latina actor who has already faced racist backlash to her casting in the live-action remake. Okay.
That seems irrelevant.
Yeah, that part... Well, that's irrelevant to, like, what we're going to talk about, but that was kind of, like, a big thing that they were talking about for a while.
Interesting.
Because she's not white. Like, she doesn't have, like, pure white skin. But that's a whole other conversation. Can I go first on this one really quick?
Sure.
Okay. So, first of all, another full disclosure, I don't think I've actually seen Snow White. And, you know, I'm the queen of princesses. Okay, I'm sorry for the Snow White lovers. She kind of is boring, and I hate her dress. So, and I felt that way my entire life.
Wait, I need to look up a picture.
Yeah, I hate her dress. She's no Ariel, Jasmine, or Aurora, or Brandy's Cinderella. So, all that to say, I'm probably going to see the movie, if I'm being honest. That's another thing, too. I'm probably going to see it. Because I want to see when she says she's a leader. She doesn't need a man. I would love to see how does that translate to staying as close as possible to the source material. I'm very curious.
Yeah.
Snow White is definitely one of the ones. There's some that are like kind of like Cinderella. I mean, they tried it with the that
Cinderella,
latest version of Cinderella. for Amazon Prime with that girl who sings Christmas. She sings Christmas like that. Y'all know who I'm talking about. Gosh, what is her name? Cabello. So they did that version of Cinderella, and she kind of was girl bossy. She wanted to be a seamstress. So for Cinderella, that kind of makes sense. Jasmine, it makes sense. Ariel, not really, because at the end of the day, you know, she wanted to be human, means man. But Snow White, it just doesn't make sense how you can make it kind of like girl bossy. So I'm very curious on how they're going to do that. And obviously I will be reviewing it for the class. Now, here's my thoughts on making it girl bossy. It's for kids, just make it lovey. Like, I understand the want to make things girl bossy, because I think a lot of people get to be in their early 20s, and they realize that, like, Prince, you know, Jimmy that lives down the hall from you isn't Prince Charming. You know, he's not going to drop everything because you want to take a rendezvous, you know. And I think it's disappointing. It's a shock to your system. I'll be honest. The guys I met in college, it was a shock to my system. I didn't date in high school for various reasons. And I get to college, I'm like, okay, here we go. My prince will be there. And it's a shock to the system, okay? Like, it's shocking the first time.
You're like, I can't legally blonde into this relationship?
Literally. I'm like, I'm sorry. You're not even gonna pick me up? Like, tiny things.
The nail trick didn't work? The long nails didn't work? What?
Right. Like, oh, I have to hold my own door? This is strange. So you realize that, and I think that if you aren't, like, self-aware enough, you kind of start, like, doing the whole, I'm a girl boss my way through it. But, like, I don't think there's anything wrong with, like, having little girls especially, like, wanting Prince Charming. Sure, it'll be a shock to the system when they get to college and it's Jimmy, but, like, I don't know, that's a rite of passage. Like,
bald-headed Jimmy.
Yeah, not even, like, Jimmy, and you're like, wow, Jimmy and I had a really good conversation in class. Maybe he'll take me out. Sure, let's go out. And then you're like, he doesn't open the door. Like, he's just Jimmy. So, like, you, and I think, like, maybe I almost want to say, like, she's, like, projecting onto the children.
Honestly, yeah, that's a really good point.
I feel like she's projecting onto the children, and it's like, just let them have fun. Like, let them enjoy the movie. Love is cute. Love is great. Like, I'm gonna say this thing about love real quick, and then I'm gonna be done. In Aquamarine, when they're talking about love, and so for those who don't know the plot, she's a mermaid. She has 3 days to fall in love with someone. So she's trying to fall in love with this guy, and then these two girls that are, like, super cute and quirky, they're like, oh, maybe I should review Aquamarine. Love the movie. And they're, like, super cute and quirky, and they're like, oh yeah, let's tell you about love. And then toward the end of the movie, they talk about love, and like, everybody wants it because it's the closest thing we have to magic. And that's such a corny, cheesy line. Think about it all the time. And then, like, spoiler alert, it ends up being like, because she has to show her dad that humans can love, and that as a mermaid she can love too. So they're trying to get the love for this boy, but the boy doesn't even know her, so he can't, like, fall in love with her. But the two girls, one of the girls is afraid of water, but she had to help and save her, so she jumps in to save her, even though she's afraid of water. So it was like the friendship love, which is like,
oh wow,
yeah. It's, oh, you haven't seen oh, we should watch the movie. Oh, I love it, and it's so sweet. It's like the friend, and, like, you get all teary eyed, like, I do love my friends. My friends are great. So it's so sweet,
cute.
It is, and I mean, there's different types of love in that regard, you know, like, friendship love is what I mean. Friendship versus relationship love. Anyway, so, like, love is a great thing. Like, you want people to feel that. You want to have, like, little girls look forward to that, because it's a good thing. But I think, like, she's kind of projecting, and, like, her attitude about it is so, one thing I don't like that celebrities, I feel like, have been doing a lot lately, is bashing things that you're in. I'm sorry, that's not cute, that's not funny. Don't bash it. Zac Efron, I'm talking to you. He does not like High School Musical, and that is so, why would you say that? Like, that makes me not like you. I mean, I still do.
Yeah.
Like, he's gone down some points in my head. So going around bashing your, like, the source material, like, to be able to play a Disney princess is an honor. And, say whatever you want to say about not Halle Berry, A Little Mermaid.
Yeah,
So whatever you want to say about her, she handled that with grace and class. She was very proud to have been Ariel. Best singing, best rendition of all the songs. Like, she handled that with class. Rachel going around, yeah, well, it's not going to be, there's not going to be love in ours. It's going to be nothing but leadership. It's like,
yeah,
program something. I want to be like, I don't know. It's silly. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, I mean, first of all, you use the term girl boss and feminist interchangeably that I noticed, because they didn't say girl boss. They said feminist. And I think there's a little bit of a difference. I know in you and I, in our space, there's really not, because we assume, I think, that the good feminist, right? Like, not the toxic feminist-y kind of personnel. But I just want to point that out. I thought it was really interesting that you used girl boss and feminist interchangeably.
I think, and you know what? That's a very good point. I think I'm saying girl boss, even though the article did say feminist. I think I'm saying girl boss because I think that's when I'm thinking of the leader, like, I'm going to, I don't need the prince. I think of girl boss. I don't necessarily think of feminist. Like, even though I guess it is a feminist idea to not need a man, like at least third or fourth wave, whatever wave we're in, I guess that is the same. Yeah. Okay. I guess I did do that.
No, I mean that's fine, because
yeah.
Ideally, feminism would be a totally moderate concept. It wouldn't be too controversial. Unfortunately, it kind of is today. So I will be using the word feminist in my response, because I interpreted it as a little bit of a toxic feminism rather than just, kind of being like girl boss chill.
Oh, okay.
If that makes sense.
Yeah.
So I think that it's inherently anti-feminist, and I'm using the word feminist in a good, normal way. I believe it's inherently anti-feminist to project your own expectations onto another woman. Unless, of course, that woman is harming herself or others. I do not believe that the feminist thing to do is to tell her how she needs to change in order to fit your ideal. Does that make sense? Like, for example, It feels to me like she's saying Snow White needs to, like, flip her priorities,
Yeah.
And how is that feminist if a girl dreams of getting married one day and you're telling her she needs to stop dreaming of that and instead dream of being on stage or dream of having a big following, which is what being a leader is having a following.
Yeah, it doesn't necessarily mean social media, just in general.
Sure. How is that feminist? It seems like we're trying to out-feminist each other a little bit, and I hope that I'm winning by saying, like, how many times have I had unwarranted advice on when to have kids, by other women who would probably consider themselves feminist in a normal way, I'm sure. How is that feminist? Now, granted, I understand that you're giving me this advice because you love me and you want to make sure that I'm enjoying life, quote unquote. But the real feminist would trust that the woman standing in front of her knows what she wants, knows how to get it, and knows what's best for her. That's all I got.
No, that's good. I think, though, I didn't think of that aspect. That's why I'm glad there's people who do this show, because you're getting a different perspective. I didn't think of it from that aspect at all.
Because I think that the article went on to say, like, isn't it pseudo-feminist to say that her love of wanting to get married is wrong or somehow disoriented?
Yeah. And I saw this TikTok maybe not weeks, or like last week maybe, and this girl was like, Snow White was like the original like queen or something like that, because she said she went and met these men and said, you're gonna work for me. I'm here to sing and listen to the animals, and you're gonna work for me. And I was like, wow, very valid point. And she's like, she had the village mean woman afraid of her because of her beauty and whatnot, because Snow White the fairest of them all. Like, it's just, yeah. I mean, I just don't think that, like, why can't the little girlies just want to be married princesses? I don't think there's anything wrong with that. And, if a girly grows up and doesn't, and her ideas change, that's just like life. I don't know. I just feel like it's just go through the phase. And then, like I said, when you get to college and Jimmy isn't Prince Charming, okay. And then you kind of just like move on.
But but like there will be a day, likely.
Yeah,
that
ideally.
Prince Charming will come.
Right.
So that's not even a bad thing to want.
Right. And I think that's important too. I think that because of gender relations in 2023, it comes off bad for men, or women and men, I guess, and men, but for people to desire to be married. Because if you're single, you're supposed to be, I am finding this thing, I'm not ungrateful at all.
I've rejected men that love me, and that's a power move.
Right, exactly. And like, I think during wait, what was you said before you said the rejected men? You said, what'd you say? Of course? Did you say of course?
Probably.
Okay,
I don't know.
I thought you said of course. Okay, I just wanted to confirm you said of course. For a second I heard something about a horse.
And I think I did. I think I did say of course. Yeah.
Okay. So yeah, like we're in this age of like where all the it's kind of, you're supposed to be like, oh, yeah, I'm fine. I don't need that. I'm like, if you're really not, it's okay to say you're not, and you shouldn't be crying every night because you're not in a relationship either. There has to be balance. And I think that in this time of all of these weird like gender relations, we have that Whatever podcast that's talking about how every girl has had 100 partners by the time she's like 25. So and it's getting in a men's head, and then there's just all this other stuff going on. I think that seeing happy, positive marriage stuff is actually a good thing. Like having people desire to want to be married is kind of a good thing, because we know that like marriage and the family is the foundation of society. We know that that's kind of how everything flows. So I think it's a good thing. So anyway, also it just makes me want to, like, do we have more? We need more princesses. And I've thought about, just a side thing, I've thought about like, someone comes up with a whole new set of princesses. How do we like get them to be to Disney's level? I mean, I guess it takes time, because Disney's been since what, like the 1930s?
Yeah.
But I guess it's just time for someone to do that, I guess. There is another story that I don't think fits, and I kind of don't want to do it.
I didn't have any. We could just talk. We could just share like what it is, and then just be like, good.
Sure. Oh, actually, yeah, I guess we could do that. So this was a Politico article, and it was talking about how Pornhub was pulled out of multiple states because it didn't want to comply with the age verification law,
which we've talked about.
Yes, which we talked about, and it's happening to multiple states. Season of justice. This is a season of justice.
Valerie, that is so true.
Season of justice, and they'll keep pulling out. And also, I just want to point out, like, that's weird. Whether you're pro porn or not,
totally
doesn't want to comply with the age verification. That's weird. That's weird behavior.
Totally. That's like ABC boycotting like North Carolina because you have to show an ID to buy alcohol.
Right. That's strange.
How is that a good business decision?
No. And it makes the people that are in charge of your company look really bad. So
that's what I'm saying. Like, that's a poor business decision. That's like bad PR. Why would any business want bad PR like that?
No idea. So
They
I think
they are so messed up. So messed up.
and I think I keep seeing more and more things about like men getting away from porn, and women too. Like I know we talk about men a lot more because like realistically the statistics are higher for men,
80%
but
of
women
men
have
watch
issues
porn.
as well. But there's a lot more people like talking about it, like secular people. I don't even mean Christians. Like we Christians have been saying stuff for years, but like secular people are even talking about at least like minimizing it. Like I've seen, I've listened to some podcasts. I listen to these guys that they're not Christians, they're very secular. But I want to know what's going on with like men, and they were talking about like limiting pornography. One of the guys said that like it's impossible, but he said like there is a point where it's like, okay, you have a problem, so like that's a step, you know. It is not impossible, but him admitting that there's a point where you do have a problem is a huge step, because before people were like, oh, unfettered access, are you kidding me, this is great. So yay, Pornhub's going down. Okay, so last thing, I know you guys like when we do like the random TikToks and like the kind of talking about relationship stuff, so I'm gonna show you guys listen to this video. And then we'll just give our quick opinion because we're running out of time anyway. All right, let me turn it all the way up so everybody can hear it.
I recently was going on dates with a man, and nice guy, good guy, treated me well. But once I realized that he was not my husband, because I'm only looking for husband energy at the moment, I ended things with him, and I sent him a text because like it wasn't that serious, you know. I didn't feel like I needed to do it in person. Anyways, I sent him a text, told him that I didn't see it going any further, and he agreed. He said that he didn't think that he could make me happy. And while I appreciate that, it was a very kind response, he didn't even try. Even try and say that he like wanted to change, that he wanted to like whatever. Like, I can be manipulated. I will listen to you. But you didn't even try. I recently was going on a date.
Okay. Would you like to go first as the married one? Who has
No, because I think you all know what my response is gonna be, so.
Oh, you said no? You don't want to go first?
You weren't expecting that.
No. I thought you would want to go first.
No, you guys know what my response is gonna be. That's ridiculous.
Yeah, I think that it may, like, if you feel as if someone's not your husband and you're on a date with them, I don't think there's anything wrong with like telling them, hey, it doesn't work out. But then if they're like, no, or if they're like, yeah, I agree, and then you get upset, like, what?
Yeah.
I feel like I'm missing something. I will say, so this is also a good example of how we have over like therapized ourselves. Therapized is not a word, but y'all know what I mean. People were like over analyzing it, and it did make sense what they said. So someone said something like, it's the effort. It kind of shows that this person didn't put in the effort to really want her. But then it's like, well, then you don't want that person either. Like if someone truly wasn't even gonna fight for you, why would you want them anyway? But like I understand like kind of being like, oh, I kind of wish you had fought for me. Like I get that, but like why would you want someone that wouldn't want to fight for you? I think it's a lot of people are just kind of like,
this seems very circular to me.
Say that again?
This seems very circular to me.
Yeah. And like if she truly felt that he wasn't husband energy, how could he change her mind?
Well, and why would it be disappointing that he agrees?
Right.
I don't know. I think this is definitely like, yeah, I think this is a little bit of a dud conversation because I think it's clear she's being ridiculous to be upset that he didn't put up a fight. If I was upset, never mind, I'm not going to say that because I haven't broken up with many guys. Well, not.
Oh. You got a story?
Anyways, like, if I was upset that every guy I've like went on one date with didn't fight for me, I'd probably still be crying. And I don't mean that in an arrogant way. I just mean like you kind of have to
let it go.
Let it go. What? What are you talking about? Why do people choose? Honestly, Mallory, this infuriates me. Why are we choosing so freely? Do we have this much time and energy that we are choosing to be mad about something that we have induced?
Very valid point. It was self-induced.
I can't relate to on again, off again. I'm not sure if you're the one. I'm not saying that, you shouldn't be willing to put in work for something that you want, but I can't relate to that because it was so effortless for me.
That is so interesting because I think about that a lot. Is it supposed to be effortless? Is it supposed to kind of be like, wow, this kind of fits like a glove? Like,
Yeah.
I like this person? Or is it supposed to be over time you start to like them?
Yeah, like you're working towards like molding, you're learning each other. And like that's what obviously that of course we are working on learning each other's like, pet peeves and that kind of thing, but there's no deep question of if we're right for each other.
Yeah. And yeah.
I feel like I'm sounding really arrogant. I feel like I'm sounding really self-centered, and I'm not.
No.
I'm just
Freeman,
trying to share,
no.
like, this is not something I can relate to, and I'm not saying that you shouldn't have, like, I'm sure that there are many of us that
had to fight for
when
the
choosing,
relationship like that.
yeah, and I'm not saying that that's bad. I can't relate to that, and I don't know if maybe the way I did it, maybe the way we did it was wrong. Maybe we were way too head over heels. Maybe. I mean,
no, I don't. And first, I want to say, like, I think this is your relationship. You shouldn't feel bad, and it's not arrogant if that's your experience. The time that I felt the same way too. I felt like it was super natural, like we just kind of like fell into each other type of thing. So like, it is a thing. It is possible, but I think like, is it also possible that like, you don't mesh right? Enemies to lovers, like, is that just in books or is that like in real life type of thing? I wonder. And I'm guessing like realistic is probably different for everyone, like, if we're being honest, like it can work either way. It just depends on the couple and like whether they want it to work. When I think of, and last thing about this and then we can wrap up, when I was thinking about like husband energy and she said he was a nice guy, I was thinking, is this thing that girls do? And I don't want to come off critical at all about this, because like, you want to be with someone who you like, but I think sometimes like I've seen girls meet really nice guys that they just don't mesh with, because I think they're expecting like
sparks.
What?
Like they're expecting sparks, fireworks.
Yeah, they're expecting
like first meeting.
Right. They're expecting like the time they touch, static and like, oh god, like I think, and like it's not gonna always be that way. And that's kind of what I feel like she is kind of alluding to. She just didn't say it, and I could be wrong. But like, I've seen so many girls do that. Like, I am a big fan of going on a date with someone 3 times before complete. Now, if you go on the first date and from my boundaries, he is not a Christian, he has 2 kids from 2 different women, and he just got laid off.
Addicted to drugs.
Yeah, he's addicted to drugs. Okay, there's no need to go on 2 more dates with this gentleman. Honestly, it's a sign to, oh, thank you so much for my time here and leaving. But I'm a big fan of doing the 3 dates because, the first one is going to always be awkward and uncomfortable. The second one, you already have expectations of that person, is going to be a little bit less awkward. But I think the third is really where you can like get a little bit more comfortable with each other. And I think that sometimes if you're expecting the spark, then it's like, it's just not always going to be there. And it's tough because, like, the whole thing of, I'm, like, moving my hands a lot, sorry. It's tough because the whole thing
No,
of,
I'm
like,
not even noticing.
Don't settle for anything.
Yeah.
And, like, do you, like,
Yep.
what if you don't have sparks right away? What if you're both incredibly nervous? The last first date I went to was in 2021, I'm pretty sure. And, no, 2022, actually. And it was, like, incredibly awkward. I was so awkward. And it was because I don't really go on dates that much. So, like, in my head, if you give me another chance, I feel like the second date would have been different. So I think, like, if you were just like, maybe we would have had the spark the second date. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It wouldn't have worked out because he wasn't a Christian. But, like, I just think that, like, the whole, like, don't settle. Like, I'm not telling someone to settle, but I think, like, maybe just
But be flexible.
Be flexible. Maybe that's what it is. Be flexible. Maybe the spark isn't at that exact moment, and that's okay.
Sure.
Like, I don't think it's wrong not to have the spark the very first time you guys touch and, like, your hair, and then all of a sudden you see doves, and, like, sure, that happens to some people, but I don't know. I don't think it's wrong if it doesn't happen to you.
Yeah.
Anyway, that's that. Let us know.
My response wasn't more, like, I don't know. It wasn't very clear. And this is what happens when you give me a curveball that I haven't prepared for, Mallory.
Well, no, I thought your response was actually very clear, and I liked that you were honest about your relationship. That's one thing
I'm
I do like.
glad that you were honest, too, about your experience, because we're all not going to have the same experience, you know?
No, we're not. And I like that, it's never on purpose, but every co-host that I've had has been married. And obviously I'm not. And I like that it's that dynamic because obviously we all want to get married. Like, that's just a natural woman thing to want, is to get married. So I like that we're able to give a perspective from someone who is, and who can kind of talk about, knowing that this is your husband. And I think that's a good thing. And like I said, like, I felt that before too in a previous relationship. So it's not like it's something that doesn't happen. And, like, if it does happen, that's good. And if it doesn't, maybe wait a little bit later. Like, there's people who are married that, like, they grew up and they never even looked twice at each other, and then all of a sudden one day something just clicked. And that's possible too. That's a just as cute love story.
For sure.
Just as cute. So, you guys, thank you so much for listening. I hope you enjoyed it. Let us know, what did we say? Oh, let us know, are you a regular somewhere? And then let us know also, what do you think husband material, no, what did she say? Husband.
Yeah, husband energy. Was that
husband energy? Let us know what husband energy is to you. Trying to think of any other questions. We'll figure out a yes or no later on.
Where are you a regular at?
But that's not a yes or no.
Oh.
We need a yes or no, and then we need, like, a fill in the blank.
We'll think of something.
Yeah, we'll think of something. But more than anything, you need to go ahead and like, rate, review, subscribe to this. Wherever you're listening. If it's on Spotify, if it's on Apple. If it's on Apple, please, please, please leave us a review. If you're listening on Spotify, please give us 5 stars. If you feel like this wasn't a 5-star episode, then just wait until you listen to a 5-star episode before you vote.
This was a 5-star episode.
I think it was a 16 bajillion star episode, if I'm being honest. This was a great, like I said, we're back. Like, this is a great episode. Not to brag or anything, but I think we did fabulously. Good topics though too. Good topics and good discussions. I'm trying to think of anything else. Just, if you can, seriously, rate, review, and subscribe. YouTube, if you're watching, comment something below. Let us know you're watching. I guess that's it. Have a great day, night, evening, however, wherever you're listening. Bye.
Bye-bye.